This may sound crazy, but effort often doesn't actually equal results. In fact, effort alone may cause nothing but struggle and problems. What you really need is signal. Today, we want to talk about what signal is, how you can have it, and how to be able to truly control it and put it out intentionally, as opposed to all the other things that may have been being sold to you that may not be working. Hi, my name's Steve Kidd. I'm a third generation minister, international best-selling author of 40 books and counting. Over the course of the last 40 years as a marketing company, we've had the wonderful privilege of working with over 5,000 authors, helping them write, publish, but most importantly, and of course where our heartbeat is, market their books to bestseller and everything that goes beyond that. That's right, I said everything that goes beyond that. You hear a lot of people talk about, your bestseller for your book, but what I want to tell you is bestseller is only the beginning. I've worked with doctors, lawyers, nurses, stay-at-home moms, people who you've heard of, and people who, because of the industries they're in, you may never hear of them, just as powerful, but we've shown them how to be able to market themselves, how to stand out, and more than anything else, what signal is and how to create it. Today, I want to really truly look at your signal and what you're doing. So what is the difference between effort and signal? What is the difference between, all the stuff you do, hustle and grind, to use that phrase, and having a signal? And it's about understanding, it of course always breaks down to our 3 C's: clarity, consistency, and connection. But it's also more importantly about understanding what you're being clear on so that you can consistently connect with people. You need to understand the heart and soul and core of who you are. Just putting something out for putting something out's sake isn't going to do you any good. I've hired people before, and I know a lot of people have done it, and I've been in classes where they've taught it, where they tell you to do things like, every Tuesday, let's just say as an example, you put out a quote, a famous quote from somebody. Well, that's cool, and you may even get extra eyeballs from that, but does it create any kind of signal? Now, I'm not saying stop doing that, but I'm saying those need to be aligned with your clarity of message. We've talked many times before about your passion, your purpose, and who you're meant to serve. What is the thing that you're absolutely passionate about? But then more importantly, why are you passionate about that? And how can you use that to serve the people that you're meant to serve? When you have that all qualified, Nino, glad to have you here with us. When you really clarify in yourself, what is my message? Who am I? What am I doing? Who am I serving? Then you can clearly give that messaging out to people. It's one of the reasons why, with my intro, every time I start off telling you, yes, I'm a third generation minister, international best-selling author of 40 books. And what I do is, I know really clearly, we have a program for helping you write and publish your books, but we're ultimately, and have been for the last 40 years, a marketing company. We want to show you how to have the signal, how to put it out in the world, and then how to have it work effectively for what you want to do. So yes, you need to know that story, that script, that message. You need to know it clearly. It needs to resonate with your soul so that it is absolutely the you spilling you out into the world. It's just purely and truly the real you showing up. And you need to say it. You need to say it consistently, but you also need to write it. It needs to be in a written form where people all over the world, the people, not everybody, but the people that you're meant to serve, can find your stuff and can really, truly be able to get something of substance and of value out of it. Really grow and be who they're meant to be. it's a perfect synergy between you and your ideal client because you have something that is the heart and soul and core and passion of who you are. It showed up every day throughout the course of your entire life. When you were a little kid, it showed up differently than it does now, but it still showed up. You had the heart of a giver and you were excited to give, but it was deeper than just the fact that, you loved throwing money around. I mean, I knew a guy who loved nothing more than to go into a small town, little local grocery store, and pay with $100 bill. And he did it because it made him feel like he was somebody a little bit extra, a little bit special. And typically speaking, just throwing $100 bill out for something that was like $2 or $3. I mean, you might even go so far as to say it was kind of rude, but it was an ego thing. It was part of the identity that he wanted to create for himself. Now, what was the why behind that? Well, I got to know him well enough that I understood. I came to understand that he did that because he grew up very, very poor. And he always wanted things in life. And he worked really hard, became a professional at what he did. He was a professional athlete for a while and then went from there to being a very high end business owner. But the thing that he hadn't healed in himself was that little kid that still wanted to be seen as successful and as powerful and as, the guy, right? And he did those things to feed his own ego rather than being able to see and feed himself from all of the good, all the people whose lives he was impacting. If you could have taken everything that he did with what he was doing and you could have given him the self-esteem. Now, people have to do the work on their own, but I knew this particular person well enough that if you could have given him the self-esteem to see what a great opportunity he was creating for jobs and for skills for people just like him who, had a limited education, because he was a professional athlete. So they just, long as he could continue playing the sport, they didn't really care if he learned this stuff. And so he had to learn those through the school of hard knocks rather than, through education and those kind of things. Not saying that that's bad. I'm just saying that it didn't heal that wound inside of him. And so had he healed that, he could have seen, hey, look, I've got at any given moment 10 to 20 people who I'm employing. And if I see the power of taking people with limited to no skills and giving them the capability to be high profit earners, to move into life to the same place that I am, without having to have to be the professional athlete that makes millions, spent all of them too, by the way, but be that person who can start from ground zero and make impact, make a difference, learn a skill, and be really, really good at it. And that's the difference of going down deep, because then you begin to see the real, true you. You can even question those things like, why do I need this to feed my ego kind of things. You can heal those things and you can then make the impact. This is all part of what we do, put together to be able to create your signal. When you know what you're passionate about, again, for example, you want to be seen and recognized as somebody who is an expert, somebody who's a professional, somebody who's rich. Okay, even just use that phrase. Then when you take the time to ask yourself why, and you dig down into that and you start seeing and healing those hurts, and then you can start saying, how do I use this? Who is it for? And what can I do in this world that can make the impact with this thing? For this particular gentleman's story, it wouldn't have changed much, but yet it would have changed everything. He could have taken that opportunity where, like I said, at any given time, he had 10 to 20 people who he was helping create a really great lifestyle. And he could have encouraged them and supported them and helped them heal that thing that he also hadn't healed in himself. A lot of people that are really amazing speakers, when you get to know them, you find out, a lot of times they're hustling and bobbing and weaving and doing those kind of things and staying really busy because it keeps them distracted from dealing with the things inside of themselves. And their signal, the more you get to know them, is just a little bit off. And as long as they keep hustling, the signal stays out there. But, don't let somebody else come in with a better mousetrap. Don't get sick and need to take some time off. You'll fade into obscurity really quickly. Whereas when you know who you are and you say the thing in this world that is absolutely you, showing up as the you that is you, making the impact in the world that you're meant to make, doing the thing that only you can do, that's a signal. And you're going to draw people who are meant to work with you to you, and you're going to make an impact. It's about clarifying truly, who am I? What am I doing and why am I doing it? What's it for? Who does it serve and how can I use it? Then we don't have to worry about whether we're massively viral, whether or not, our book is number one on the New York Times bestseller list, or our book just simply gets people to say, I read this book and it really made a difference in my life. Wouldn't you really rather have that second part? I mean, the credentials are cool, but really, frankly, the credentials, those are things that are systems that we can run for you. If you need those ego-driven credentials in order to be able to feel good about you, let's get them for you. Let's make you a bestseller. Let's even, it's going to cost you, but let's make you a New York Times bestseller. But then let's really start putting the signal out into the world. Have the book, have the message, have the thing, and then consistently have people that are reading it, reviewing it, and it's impacting lives. If you're ready to stop the hustle and grind, stop mistaking movement for impact, and really know and shine your signal, I would love for you to drop the word signal in the comments. Send me a DM. Let's work together. Let's really show you both how to clarify what your signal is, put it out into the world, and then do the things ongoingly, consistently, that help you connect to the people that signal's for. It makes all the difference in the world. Because the market doesn't respond to your effort. I know a lot of people that work really, really hard. The market doesn't respond to effort, to hustle, to grind. It might for a little while, but that's not sustainable. What it does respond to is clear, clean, crisp, totally authentically you signal. All week this week, we're talking about just little tiny tidbits of the new signature talk that I've put together. On Saturday, we're going to go longer. Usually we go 15, 20 minutes. We're going to go about 45 minutes. Plus, I'll probably open up the room and have some space for questions if people want after that. We're going to do that on Saturday. I'd love to have you come and join us. And in the meantime, I hope you're happy, safe, warm, and loved. And then until we're together again next time, which is tomorrow, I hope you have a great week.